Okay, everybody, so we're back up at the maple cabin, and the goal for today is that we are going to take this door and we're going to take it off. And I had talked about replacing the header up there. Right now you can see that there's not a header, there's just a couple of flat 2x8 boards up there, and that flat piece that's going across right here is it's just a 1x that isn't doing anything other than holding the air out of the cabin. So we're actually going to tear most of this out, and we're going to put an actual header in there made out of 2x6s. And the door actually is going to come home with me today, and that's going to get a makeover. We're going to cover it back up until we get back up here to put the door in. So the door, actually, I'm going to be putting a window in there. I have a window at home that's already out of a newer door, and I'm going to put a door frame, and we're going to reverse the swing on it and do a lot of other things that will make it work a little bit better for what we have going on forward. Ironically, the maple cabin was built by an older man named Wayne, just like myself. My name is also Wayne. So it seems fitting that this is now the cabin that I have been tasked with bringing back to life. Although, based on the cabin's current state, it does not appear that Mr. Reitnauer was a professional builder, and the cabin may not have been built in a way that would be defined as fine craftsmanship, I fully appreciate what he accomplished. In speaking with the neighbors who have been in the area since before the maple cabin existed, all of the logs that the cabin was built from came from the property. Mr. Reitnauer committed to a task. He formulated a plan, sourced the materials, and he built a cabin that is still standing a minimum of 30 years after it was originally built. He achieved an extremely challenging goal that he had set his mind to. No, the notches are not precisely cut, creating a perfect corner. The logs are far from level as you look at the walls. The most effective and code-required construction techniques were not used. The flashing around the chimney is suspect. But, like many shelters throughout the history of man, as unpolished as it may be, it is certainly effective at its sole purpose, creating a safe environment for a man to hide from the elements and sustain themselves comfortably. I appreciate, however, many of the elements and all of the work that Mr. Reitnauer put into his little cabin. The chimney and the masonry cook stove inside the cabin were well built and contain elements that are unique and extremely well thought out. The front door, although it is not going to remain exactly as it was, is perfect for the cabin, and therefore, after much consideration on other options, I've decided to attempt a facelift rather than purchasing a new door. I am also not a trained professional contractor or a fine craftsman with all the knowledge and skills necessary to build a cabin in the woods, particularly from the woods the way that Mr. Reitnauer did. But I do have the mentality to understand what is necessary to accomplish the completion of the cabin into a family respite. Additionally, I have this wonderful tool called YouTube where I get to watch what others are up to and learn how to do many simple and even complex tasks. My wife often tells me that she could watch videos on the things that I do 1,000 times and she would never understand what actually needed to be done. But I will often watch a video and understand the entire process of what needs done a minute and a half into a 25-minute explanation. I think it's fair to say that all of our brains just work a little bit differently. We, well, mostly I, have a lot of ideas for this place. Ideas that I am certain are a far cry from what Mr. Reitnauer may have had in mind from his little cabin that he built primarily to cook maple syrup. Family sleeping quarters with built-in bunks, a functional kitchenette, a wood stove, and possibly even air conditioning are just a few of those ideas. Every time I get to the cabin, I am thinking about what is next. Regardless, I am hopeful that we are able to return the camp, and the maple cabin specifically, to a place that he, Mr. Reitnauer, would be pleased to spend time at. All right, so the header is totally installed and fully secured. I need to take a couple of measurements here so I have good measurements when I go home to update this door. The door's loaded up, and we'll see you next time. Take care.